Hey everybody, welcome to episode 49 of Two Guys, Zero Planners. It is episode 49, right, Urban?
Yes. Only 4 months after episode 48, so at least twice or maybe even 3 times a year as our recording schedule, it seems.
I think, I was going to try to come up with a witty comeback for that, but I've got nothing.
We even have a schedule, right? We even have a meeting in the calendar.
Yeah, we
don't.
We try to be professional. We've got show docs, we've got calendar invites,
and then we just ignore it.
just trying to get together to do this. I think it's kind of equal too on how many times each of us has postponed.
Yeah, the last few months were super stressful here. The last few weeks and months of the school year. It just ended end of July here. And it was such a big burden. Didn't really realize until it was over. And sort of, I guess that's for me was actually the main thing. Because then, I don't know, you have to get up early with the kids, and then there's this, and then there's that, and do they go to school today? What does school say? And there was just a lot.
Oh, man, you're talking about waking up early, and I'm just sitting here going, dude.
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, each weekday.
6:30, and that's when I go to bed. That's part of the other problem. My sleep schedule. The only thing I wake up for consistently is my day job, and that's because, well, I need to wake up consistently for my day job. But yeah, I had some insomnia decide to hit. When did I start complaining about insomnia? Back in February?
I don't remember.
I think I've complained about it on this show.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten worse. Like last night, I didn't actually go to bed till 8 a.m. It's currently 12:19 in the afternoon as we record this. And when we're done recording this, I'm going right back to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my day off, and I've got Dungeons and Dragons tonight at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that doesn't help the sleep schedule either, right?
No, it doesn't. The sleep schedule's just been slowly getting worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to get that in gear before the end of September, because I'm going back to the office.
That doesn't sound great. I mean, I voluntarily went to the office one day, and I basically, the only thing I did was chat to people, essentially. Didn't get any work done. So I think I don't know, once a month, maybe. I was thinking about going once a week or something, but I don't think even that is useful for my productivity. But yeah, having to go back every day. Ooh.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing too. It's like, it seems a little archaic to force us back into the office.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like everyone running the boat in a lot of companies, at least here in America, have this notion that the only way to succeed is to have your workforce 100% in the office.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't agree. I really don't.
Yeah.
But that's a discussion for another type of podcast, not a podcast about pens.
Yeah, I guess I'm sure I discussed it on my other podcast, because that's probably one of the things coming up a lot.
Probably. I seem to recall you briefly mentioning that at some point. So
yeah, it's one of the reasons why I left a job and then why I came back, because they switched their stance from, hey, you have to be at the office almost every day, to, hey, work from wherever you want to.
I wish I had the level of education that you do in order to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know, either fortunate or lucky or both to have picked the right thing, essentially.
Yeah, that is always good. That is definitely always good. I guess one upside about going back to the office is I keep talking about, when I'm doing my pen and ink reviews, I keep talking about workplace.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can finally make good on taking some of those inks to the office with me.
Yeah, the good ones or the bad ones?
I don't know yet. I mean, if I'm trying to make my office experience more enjoyable, I should probably bring the good ones, but I could bring the bad ones.
So whoever steals it gets a horrible ink.
Exactly.
Sort of Noodler's Bay State Blue. Fresh bottle filled to the brim.
Well, it definitely wouldn't be Noodler's. I don't know if you were around back in June or July for the whole Noodler's drama that we're not going to talk about because that's old news and we're not going to go down that road. Enough has been said about that. And
I mean, even without that, I find Noodler's inks to be problematic. I have some that just don't dry ever. And it's just, I mean, I'm okay with a bit longer dry times, but that is kind of unacceptable.
Oh yeah. I've had a couple Noodler's inks when I was actually okay with reviewing them on the channel. I had a couple that never saw the light of day because the dry time was like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to use up a sample of what was once called, I think, Navajo turquoise, but the dry time from a medium nib was so bad.
That was actually one of them. Yeah, I bought a bottle of that, planning on reviewing it, and I was just like, dude, the performance on this ink is just so trash that I'm going to have to break my rule of not being overly negative on reviews. Like, normally when I'm negative on reviews, I'll make a joke or something, and I'll immediately turn it around and get back to the positives. But I couldn't even come up with a joke for that ink.
Yeah, and I think the only sample I threw out was 54th Massachusetts, because it bled through everything, essentially.
Mm-hmm. It bleeds, it feathers. It's a nice color.
Yeah. Nah.
But yeah, that's a topic for the past. Needless to say, I do not disagree with the rather appropriate popular opinions about why Noodler's is not the best brand to be associated with.
Yes, there are so many reasons.
There are many reasons. And that is also why you will never see any more Noodler's products being reviewed on the Inktwell. So there you go.
Bringing it back to actual reviews, the last review you did was about Schaefer Amethyst. Mm-hmm. That looks actually like a nice ink, and with this cool bottle that's kind of unique.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't spend enough time on the bottle itself in the review. That's the only thing. The bottle itself is so unique that I feel like I could have done better.
Yeah, just like an Ackermann bottle, it just doesn't look as fancy from the outside, right?
Yeah. Speaking of brands that I have never tried that I really need to try at some point because everyone tells me, hey, there's this brand called Ackermann. You really need to try it. And then I'm like, hey, there's this brand called Ackermann. I really need to try it. And I just never try it. And there's a story there somewhere about why I'm not trying stuff that people say I need to try. Maybe I should try things.
I mean, I tried to get a turquoise for you when I was there at the shop, but it was out. So I bought an ink for me instead.
That was a while ago.
That was many years. Well, I don't know if it was many, but that was quite a while ago, yeah.
I mean, we can safely say it was more than half a year ago.
I mean, it was before the pandemic. I don't know, 2017 maybe, even.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's been a hot minute. No, that's been a minute, yeah. It has been a good chunk of time. At some point you're gonna have to get that ink for me. I need to try one of their inks. And if I'm gonna use something new, it needs to be turquoise.
Yeah, I have to get back there at some point as well.
Yeah. I need to actually leave the apartment. I don't want to. Yeah. I like it here.
Do you think I'm doing it differently? I'm just staying home as well.
I mean, I have it good here. I've got my computer, I've got my dogs, I've got Minecraft, I've got pens. Well, I mean, I've got inks. Mm-hmm. What more do I need?
Paper.
Oh, yeah. I'm still in my same Tomoe notebooks, so...
I think since last time, I think on the last episode we talked about me getting a notebook with Cosmo Air Light. And I think, did we? I don't know. But I did get one, and I actually just finished it as well.
Holy crap, that was quick. You went through an entire notebook.
Yeah, but it's like double broad nibs, and Cosmo Air Light is like everything's a nib size bigger than normal, right? So it's kind of easy to go through this.
So what are your thoughts, since I'm still using TR, and my notebooks are old enough that it is the old formulation of TR and not the new stuff?
I like how the inks look. I also like the feeling. It feels different to write on, and I enjoy that. It has a bit of more of drag. Dry times, I guess, Tomoe River equivalent, so that's fine. And I actually like that the ink spreads out and it's all bigger, because then you can see more of the ink, which is, I find, pretty. The only thing I find is that it's even more sensitive to hand oils than Tomoe River. So you really need to have some... So I'm using some blotter paper under my hand. Otherwise, it's impossible. And you can see it just doesn't write on those places then. That's the only downside, I guess.
Okay. I guess that's a good question. When I do eventually finish this Musubi Tomoe notebook, what should I get for my review paper?
I mean, Musubi just came out with the folios with the Zanzen Tomoe River. We could just use that.
We could, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it's not that different from the old one.
It's not as earth-shattering as we thought it was going to be?
No, it's not crazy end of the world. It's just a tiny bit different.
Aw, I was hoping for crazy end of the world. You've completely ruined it for me now, Urban.
Nope, not a video you can make.
Actually, that's probably a good thing. Considering my video release schedule has done the same thing our podcast release schedule has done. Yeah.
Just not quite as bad, because it's just one person doing it and not two people having issues and postponing stuff.
There is that. There definitely is that. Yeah. There's the yawning again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I get loud when I yawn. Post
not
edit
too bad.
me.
You should hear my wife yawning. That's like crazy.
Now I know where my dogs get it, man. My dogs make the loudest noise when they yawn, and I'm sitting there going, You're a dog. You're not supposed to make these loud, like, guttural noises when you yawn. And then just looking at how big the waveform got when I yawned there a second ago. Holy crap, they're taking after me. But yeah, that's one thing. It's amazing how many things get delayed when you don't have a regular sleep schedule. Like, I haven't been journaling as much. I've got products to review, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a backlog that I need to do, but when you're going to bed at like 8 o'clock in the morning, waking up at 1 in the afternoon, and then just trying to get caught back up, yeah, getting stuff done is rather difficult.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because I suck at getting stuff done at the top of the day. I just suck. Like, when I wake up, I cannot get something done for the first 3 hours that I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
But by the same token, I can't... I live in an apartment, so I can't go through the process of setting up lights, doing sound checks, making sure my voice is good to go, which requires some stupid vocal exercises, but it is what it is. And then going through the hour-long process of recording a video at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty sure my neighbors would kill me.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm pretty good at, sleeping. There's almost never a day where I can't just fall asleep.
Yeah, but you also have these things called kids.
Yeah, but I'm also just, I don't know, if I don't get at least 6 hours of sleep a day, I'm just tired and grumpy and horrible. So I just need to.
Ugh. People actually sleep for 6 hours? Wow.
I mean, looking at my kids, they do sleep more.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I'm sleeping a lot. Today I'm going to sleep a lot. I'm going to force myself to sleep some when we're done recording. But yeah, like, it's weird. for the month of July, guess how many journal entries I actually did for the whole month of July?
2.
Okay. How much money do I owe you, and can I send it to you via PayPal for getting that correct?
Nice. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just happens, right?
Well, I feel guilty about it, because I filled up my... I am way too tired to say this. I filled up my Aurora Oraloid. I hate saying those two words together, yet when I'm doing a pen review. So let's go ahead and take a look at this pen next to the Aurora Oraloid to see how it stacks up. Wow, I can say it perfectly there, and I can't say it 15 times in a row when I'm recording. What the hell? Anyways, yeah, I filled it with Lamy Tourmaline back in April.
Okay.
And I'm still on the same fill of ink.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens, right?
I just feel guilty. It's like I'm this pen and ink reviewer, and I'm not using the pens and the inks and the stuffs. I have a cool statue of Master Chief that I bought on Amazon that holds my pen for me. That's cool. Have you ever played Halo?
No, I was too... Yeah, I never really got into that, because then you have to try and practice.
Yeah, fair
enough. I was
enough.
never really into computer games.
So, ignoring the horrible TV show that just came out this last year of the whole Halo franchise, which, we don't speak of that TV show. I bought an Xbox controller stand. So it's this little figurine that stands about 8 inches tall that holds your Xbox controller. Except this one's not holding an Xbox controller. It's holding a pen. So you know how people have those desk ornaments of a crab or a cat or a skeleton or a knight that holds their pen for them? I have Master Chief. Instead of slaying the Covenant, he's holding a pen. Instead of hunting down Cortana, he's holding a pen. Instead of going after the Prometheans, he's holding a pen. And none of my gaming friends can understand how on earth I can try to mix Halo and pens. And it's so cool. It's like this $20 thing on Amazon turned out to be like one of my favorite purchases as far as just random things to buy for using it for what it was definitely not intended for.
I mean, almost, right? Holding stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the... yeah, there it is. Okay. Share, copy, Slack, Urban, paste, send.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hilarious how much larger this Master Chief figurine thing. It's funny how much larger it is than the actual pen it's holding. And then I finally caved in. And I have crabs now. I have a green crab and a blue crab. You've probably seen the blue crab show up in a couple videos, or the green crab did show up during a sleep-deprived rant at the end of one of my videos. Or was it the blue crab? One of the two crabs. Anyways, I've got one of the crabs sitting below Master Chief's arms, holding up my ink testing pen that I use for reviews. So it's like, okay, what if I... On one hand, I'm not using my inks and stuff nearly as much as I should be. On the other hand, I'm going down the weird rabbit hole of all the peripherals that people end up buying for their pens and stuff. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I've somewhere out there is my sanity, and I just can't find it. And I know we've had episodes where it sounds like we're going off in these rabbit trails and stuff, but this, I think, is the first time where we're recording an episode where people can hear what it's like for me to have less than 3 hours of sleep.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
This is, you can really tell, yeah.
So before I force you to do a lot of talking here, because I do want you to do a lot of talking.
27 minutes in, you did do all the talking.
Oh,
and now
dude.
You want me to?
You know, that's how all of our episodes go. I threaten to force you to talk and say things during the episodes, and then I end up being a complete jerk and bogarting like 60% of the recording time. And I look back when I'm editing the audio going, dude, he probably thinks I'm an egotistical jerk that likes hearing the sound of his own voice.
No, otherwise I wouldn't record with you. I'd just pretend I don't have time.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. So let's do this. Since we haven't recorded since April, I'm going to go through my list of videos, and I will say the name of the product, and you just let me know if we want to talk about it.
Right.
Colorverse Black Hole.
Oh, black inks. I don't know.
Yeah, that one disappointed me anyways, so let's skip that. Did we talk about the Kaweco Iridescent Pearl?
We may have.
I'm looking at the episode 48 doc really quick. We did, but I can't recall. Did you get an Iridescent Pearl? Or did you get the olivine?
I got the olive green one, yeah.
Okay. Oh, the IP for you and that was you typing that. Okay. Yeah, so we've talked about that. Okay. Oh, that happened too. Wow. We'll circle back around to that. So, Lamy Tourmaline. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that really quick. I love that ink.
Yeah, for me it falls into this area where it's a bit too green for my liking, essentially.
You, sir, are wrong. I kid. I could see that. It's one of those teal colors that it is so dependent on the lighting conditions that I love the ink to death. It is a great ink. There's a reason it's an Oraloid right now. But oh my god, that video took 8-9 hours to color grade.
How long? 9-minute video. Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, and I think I cover it in that video, that is one of those, teal is one of those colors, kind of like red, where our eyes are very sensitive to blues and our eyes are very sensitive to reds. And LED lights that are used in photography and videography are either spot on in the blues and the reds, or they aren't.
Mm-hmm.
The light bulbs that we use around us, the new LED bulbs, well, I say new, they've been out now for years, but the LED bulbs that a lot of people use in their everyday lives are not the most color accurate bulbs on the face of the earth. Not everyone's going to have like multi-hundred, if not multi-$1,000 lights that they use strictly for ink reviews. No one's going to have that. So it's like the level of green that you're seeing in that ink could very well just be a product of the light bulbs that you're using in the house.
Yeah, and obviously the screen isn't adjusted either, so who knows? That's true.
Yeah, because not everyone's going to go out of their way to make sure that they buy a computer monitor that has 100% sRGB and then at least 98% DCI-P3, I think is the other standard. Yeah. And they're not going to make sure that everything is color calibrated perfectly for Rec 709 and BT 2020.
Random characters put together and stuff.
God, I'm doing it again. My coworkers complain of the same thing.
Yeah. So I don't know how different it is than essentially of the ink I'm currently trying to use up, which is the Jacobin Vert Reseda, which I guess also falls into that, but seems to be a bit more blue. I don't know.
Have you ever noticed there's a lack of, how do you say the brand name?
Jacques Herbin.
Jacques Herbin? Okay. Have you ever noticed there's a lack of those inks on the channel?
I hadn't noticed until now, yeah? Have you reviewed any?
Never.
But they're so cool. They come in this tiny 10 milliliter bottles, which is very cute and totally unusable. Almost as bad as those tiny Colorverse bottles, I guess.
Oh, dear God, yeah. Those tiny Colorverse bottles, bane of my existence. French words, bane of my existence. Because I don't know if it comes off, but I'm kind of from the south part of the United States, and occasionally I've lived here long enough that I have to fight this accent. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not really that bad. I grew up on the West Coast. I'm from the Northwest, So I do sound normal, at least, but certain languages with certain pronunciation guides, like when do you pronounce or not pronounce the last 20 letters of a word? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, English and French, they are not that compatible, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, literally for us, it's like the letter G tends to be the only letter where we consistently go, yeah, half the time we're just not going to pronounce you. Like sign or resign or benign. Does that have a G in it? I don't know. That last one, I don't know. That's probably a bad example. But
it does have a G.
It's one of those things. We ignore the G. It exists. We just ignore it. But, like, how do you pronounce that ink name?
Verreseda.
Okay.
Because most of the time you just drop the last letter. And if an H is in the beginning of a word, you also drop it. So it's not Herben, but Herbin without the H in the beginning. It's like not a hotel in French, but a hotel and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So Jacques Herbin. Do I even put the N in the end? Is it Herbin?
Herbin. Yes, you sort of know that there's an N. You can sort of hear it, yeah.
Like I have to put that slightly nasally inflection in there to make it sound like I'm saying an N without actually saying it?
Yeah. And the green, the vert, is definitely without the T.
Yeah. See, this is why I have not reviewed any of their inks.
Yeah. Wasn't there this episode on, what was it called?
BYOB?
Yes, where...
Who was it? It was one of the, what we called jelly bean mode episodes, where it was one of the special offshoot episodes.
Yeah, that was a fun one to hear. An American pronouncing French words and then someone correcting them.
Yeah, I would go on a limb here. Once again, having not actually seen, I want to pronounce it, but I don't want to pronounce it. Having not actually seen this ink in person, I don't know if... I would say tourmaline is more blue than this, in my experience. Okay. But you've used both inks, so I think you would actually know better than me.
No, I actually haven't used tourmaline.
Oh.
I think, at least. No.
You should use it.
Okay.
Yes, you should definitely use it. It is a very good ink with good key... Wow. I wanted to say key performance indicators. I wanted to say KPIs. I tried to say both at the same time. And my mind just shut off. I had what my one of my gaming buddies calls a random blue screen, where I'll be sitting there talking, and then I will just stop. Because it's like, my brain is trying to... My brain has already processed what I want to say, and my mouth can't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of those moments.
So, but I think tourmaline was one of the special editions, right?
It's one of the air quote special editions. So, yeah, it's definitely a special edition, yet you can still get it in plenty of places, it seems.
Okay. Yeah, I'm currently trying to actually finish stuff and not buy more. I'm not totally succeeding, so I bought one bottle of ink, but I'm working on it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe not yet.
I think ink is a much easier rabbit hole to fall down. When it comes to, I'll just get another bottle. Sure, I've got 50 other bottles I haven't used yet, but I can get that new bottle of ink. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like 0.7 milliliters fit in this converter, and it's like a 60 ml bottle or something. And you're using it in an extra fine nib. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, extra fine nibs. You have fun with that.
Yeah. Speaking of extra fine nibs, I didn't get a Lamy 2000 with an extra fine nib, but it's intentionally with a double broad.
Double broad. Wait, did my double broad inspire your double broad?
Maybe. I don't remember the timeline, but it seems like that video could have been at that correct point.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really like it now. But my initial experience with that pen was pretty bad, and apparently that is normal and expected. So I took it out, and the first thing I noticed, hey, the nib, the tines aren't aligned, so I had to fiddle around with the nib a bit, at least that wasn't too much work. Then I tried to fill the pen, and I noticed, whoa, that piston feels like they didn't just do the brushing on the outside of the pen, but also on the inside. So I had to grease it with some silicone as well. That helped. And then I don't know how it is with your pen, but I don't know, the first weeks or months capping that pen, really, I could really feel that brushed finish, because it really was, I don't know, grinding when closing it. That wasn't fun.
So you and I had two completely different experiences with our pens. My pen has been a complete doll. The cap has been smooth the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
The tines were aligned out of the box. And the piston, I dare say, was smoother than any Pelican piston I've ever used.
Yeah, I mean, the pistons in my Twisby Ecos were better than that. Much better.
Ouch! And
they probably still are, even after the greasing. It's like, I don't know.
So I have to ask, yours was brand new, right? It wasn't used?
Yeah.
What?
So after that, I basically, whenever someone brings it up, the Lamy 2000, everyone says, hey, great pen if you find a good one, essentially. That seems to be normal, that you can find ones like that.
You know, I think I covered that. I think I covered that partially in the video too. That double broad was not my first Lamy 2000. My first Lamy 2000 was either a fine or an extra fine. That the only reason it wrote good is because Phil was the previous owner.
Mm-hmm.
And he went through the same experience that you did. So by the time I got it, Phil had completely tweaked it to where it wrote beautifully.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to suffer through what I guess is a more common Lamy experience than I realized.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I don't know, maybe it is just because it's like €150 pen that I have higher expectations than for a cheap Lamy pen, but I somehow don't remember Lamy nibs that bad from the cheap ones somehow. I don't know what's up with that. But now I really like it. It is a really wet writer and it's a lot of fun to use, and it's been inked basically since I got it. So I've had enough Chinese pens that need to be fixed, so I essentially know what to do. So
I mean, that definitely saves quite a bit of money on paying someone else to fix it for you if it's something that you can just hurry up and do.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it before, but when it comes to out-of-the-box nib quality and smoothness and just making sure you're getting a good writing experience, anything above $20 needs to have a good nib out of the box. If somebody is handing you $20 or €20 or 20 whatever the equivalent of $20 or euros is for a good, that good needs to not be trash.
Yeah.
I mean, unless of course it's a mechanical keyboard. If you're paying $20 for a mechanical keyboard, what is your issue? A good mechanical keyboard is going to run you like $70, $80 minimum, but that's a different topic for a different type of podcast.
A pen is essentially a simple thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is a reservoir of some type. It is a feed of some type. It is a piece of metal of some type that makes contact with a piece of paper and uses some type of capillary or vacuum action to put the ink on the page. It's an old method that really hasn't changed that much since the early 1900s, late 1800s. Yeah. We shouldn't be having issues where you have to fix the nib on a $150 pen. I'm sorry.
Definitely. Yeah, and I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a more expensive pen, but I think I've realized that I'm more into the cheaper ones. I don't know, maybe it is a bit psychological as well, that I don't mind so much if a pen isn't perfect, if it's like €20 or something.
I think because of how many different hobbies I have and how expensive they can all get, I notice a lot quicker when something above a certain threshold doesn't meet my insanely unrealistic quality values that I hold.
Yes, that explains it well.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can either spend $40 on a pen. Or I can save that $40 on a pen and spend $500 on a 50 millimeter f1.8 Panasonic lens for my Panasonic S1 or S5 that takes amazing photos at a very nice focal length that I know is going to be more correct the first time than that $40 fountain pen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still I don't know, eyeing some of the more expensive ones. At some point I really want to try a Pilot Custom 823 or something, but it is a bit, I don't know, someday, not now, I guess, territory.
If it wasn't for all the custom stuff, I would probably just send you my Pilot 845 to go ahead and try.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
I trust neither your nor my Post plus customs, obviously.
Yeah, I no longer trust my Post.
Someone sold me a pen. He literally lived, I think, 100 kilometers away, and it disappeared basically when he dropped it off. At least it was insured, but yeah.
Yeah, I had a guy send me some Patreon backer stuff for a creator that I support, and it got lost in the mail for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, wow, that is insane. But yeah, no, I get it. It's those are good pens to try. I briefly had an 823. It's a pen.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting pen from the looks. That's true.
Would I get one again? Sure. Why not? But I much prefer the Pilot 845. I like that. I like having a converter. Piston fillers just don't do it for me anymore. I mean, not piston, vac fillers. I love piston fillers. I love Pelicans. That's the one area where I have to remind myself I am not made of money. I would go broke if that was the case. But yeah, that's I much prefer the converter in the 845 over the vac filler of the 823.
Yeah, I must admit the vac fillers, I have some Pen BBS ones and stuff like that. You can basically unscrew the section, and that's normally how I fill them. And I don't even use the mechanism. So it's nothing more than a Japanese eyedropper.
Yeah, good to know I'm not alone on that one. That's exactly how I would fill the 823. I would unscrew the section, and I would use my syringe to go ahead and fill the pen, because I would get a more consistent fill.
Yeah, and that's why I like the Opus 88 pens, because that's essentially what you have to do there.
I need to try some of their, I say new, they really haven't done too much new, but I need to try some of their other body styles other than the Fantasia, because some of the other body styles are actually nice.
Yeah, apart from that one that pretends to be a vase. That one is super weird.
That pen is ugly. It will never see the light of day on my channel.
I mean, it's like the combination of bad design and a horrible material. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, amazing is a word for it. Completely hideous is another word for it.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Speaking of nice pens, have you seen my new nice pen? The pictures, at least.
The custom one that you're having made?
Yes.
You have sent me a couple pictures.
It's now on Instagram as well.
I am envious.
Yeah, so this is from Giant's Pen. This is sort of, they're in the Netherlands. They made basically the pens for the launch of Annabelle Hiller's custom-made nibs, which is another topic, which is actually pretty cool. Someone just making nibs by hand. And at some point he had made a small pen, almost pocket-sized, I guess, with a number 8 nib. And I asked him, hey, how small can you make it? Right? How short? I just want a cartridge to fit. And he said, sure, let's look into this. And then we found a material, which is one of those combination of acrylic and wood ones. And then some time passed, and I guess he had a lot to do. And then suddenly he said, hey, here's your pen, it's finished. Like, I think we talked about it in November and figured out the details. And then just maybe 2 weeks ago, it was done. And then he said, hey, what kind of nib do you want to have? Initially, I thought a Bock titanium nib, but he said, I have this Magna Carta steel nib, which was then cheaper I think only 60 euros or something. Comes with an ebonite feed as well. Yeah, and then I basically went for it more or less because of the money and because I had other titanium nibs as well. Yeah, and now I'm on my third cartridge already because that thing is super wet and fun to use, I guess. Oh, and the big thing for me is that it unscrews in one turn, which is perfect.
So a couple notes.
Triple start threads and stuff.
That is a very beautiful pen. I am envious. That is a lovely pen.
Cheaper than 823. By quite a bit, yeah.
I mean, wow. I like that material. If I was going to have a pen in that material, though, I would want it to be about... Okay, if I was going to have a pen in that material, I would want it to be 133 millimeters capped, 125 millimeters uncapped, number 6 nib. The section would need to be 21.5 millimeters long by 9.5 millimeters wide at the thinnest part of the concave. It would need to have a slight concave of about 2 millimeters of depth difference between the fat part and the thin part. And it would need to have a taper from a body width of 14 millimeters down to 12 millimeters.
You can tell that you review a lot of pens. I couldn't even tell you how much it is. Yeah.
Calipers were the worst thing I could have ever bought for the channel.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure it's visible, but the section isn't fully straight. It has a slight curvature in the middle. It's a tiny bit thinner.
Yeah, I can see that in the second picture, that it does have a little bit of a curve to it. But I would want so much more of that material that it would have to be comparable to a 1911 large in size.
I mean, for me, it was sort of, how ridiculous can I make it, essentially, right? In terms of size.
So how does that compare to a Kaweco Sport?
About the same size. I think it's like 2-3 millimeters longer. And he said he could shave off a bit more from the top, but I said, yeah, let's just keep it. So the only thing there is that posting it, you have to be a bit more careful to actually make it straight, because yeah, it's like a centimeter or centimeter and a half of overlap only.
See, I would be one of those barbarians that would be perfectly fine having them put threads on the back of the pen, so when I capped it, I could just screw the cap on.
Yeah, we talked about it with the Lilliput, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like it.
And you, sir, are wrong.
I mean, kidding. It's a pen to use somehow quickly, sort of quickly, right? And it's a whole thing to unscrew the pen and then screw it back on.
I guess for me, I've done it so many times that it is a very quick action for me, and it's not hard to do. I can have that pen unscrewed and capped in 2.5-3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it though. I get it. It'd probably be one of those things that would be really easy to cross thread if you weren't paying attention. So yeah,
I guess, yeah.
I will say I definitely love the look of that material though. That was a good choice on the materials for your pen.
Yeah, it was also a bit luck, I guess. Both he and we were then surprised how good it looked afterwards. Because if you have it's just a rod, it's just not polished. You can't really see how it's gonna look in the end. But yeah,
right.
That was also a thing I wanted to have, right? Some material that I hadn't had before, and that's something I was eyeing.
Well, you definitely did get the material that you haven't had before, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good look. It is definitely a good look. What else did you end up getting?
I also got a Faber-Castell Hexo. I saw you did review it. But I think at that time it was like a $40 or $45 pen. And I found one for $23 new. And I thought, hey, at that price I can try it out, essentially.
I mean, yes, I think it was $40 at the time. I didn't pay $40. Thank you, Fig Boot.
Yeah, I mean, that pen is now cheaper than a Faber-Castell Loom, right?
Right.
Yeah, I like it. It's a bit, I don't know, the section wobbles a bit. It's not super tight, which isn't great. So it's like more in that price range. It's fine, right? If you pay $20 or 20 euros for it, then it's acceptable. In the $40 range, maybe not so much anymore.
Yeah, I can't quite recall what was the title for that Faber-Castell video. Not bad on the budget, but still... Okay, pause. I don't want to hear my self-talk. Okay. Not bad on the budget, but still on the fence for me. Why did I say it was still on the fence? Oh, this was back when I was still doing the TLDRs. Okay, I can just scrub through.
Yeah, I did watch it, but I forgot. It's just, hey, it's okay, but it's not the greatest pen, which is fine, I guess.
Okay, recap. Good price to value, smooth nib. Can all manufacturers start including converters for free? Oh, yeah, because it was rose gold member. Right, yeah, that was a horrible joke even back then. Yes, that I even did a couple digs at Apple. I prefer rose gold and black over silver and black any day of the week. That's right. Okay. Good click on the cap, yeah. Oh yeah, I felt that pen was nib heavy. So the weight balance was completely off, and it felt like it was way too heavy on the section compared to the rest of the body.
I mean, I find it's a super light pen, so I don't really notice it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you could tell that I was completely on the fence about how I felt with this pen, because the last bullet point was, as always, salt is your best friend.
I don't know. It's not the most amazing pen, but it's fine. It's sort of my summary as well.
Oh yeah, and that is the video where I started saying aluminium instead of aluminum. I forgot about that. That's an interesting tangent. Ever since the Faber-Castell video, I have said aluminium.
Do you remember why?
So fun fact about my demographics, only 45% of my viewers are from the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then it makes sense.
Yeah, the majority of my YouTube viewership is from Europe, India, and Southeast Asia.
Okay.
So saying aluminium is more correct for the vast majority of my viewers.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the reason I say Z instead of Z. Because it's like, well, hey, the majority of my viewers aren't sitting there going XYZ, they're saying XYZ, and it's like, okay, I'll be nice for the majority of my viewers.
And I noticed basically most reviewers actually use metric system for the lengths and stuff, because it would be super crazy probably with the fractions you would have to use.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, you even got on to me for putting tenths of a millimeter in my measurements.
Yeah, I mean, a millimeter, that's I don't know how many 0.0001 feet or whatever inches. It's so minimal. I don't think you can. Really...
Let's see. It's 10 millimeters to a centimeter and 2.7 centimeters to an inch, I think. So 27 millimeters to an inch. I think that sounds about right.
1 millimeter are 0.039 inches.
Yeah, it's obscenely small. So, I mean, really the only time you're going to notice that big of a difference would be on the section. But yeah, you're right. So. A tenth of a millimeter, you're not going to notice that. And I was being pedantic at that point.
Yeah, I mean, even in the section, I mean, half a millimeter maybe. I'm not sure you can notice more.
That would have to be a small section for you to notice half of a millimeter. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. I need to start enunciating better. Because, like, millimeter. It sounds like I'm saying meter, not meter.
You need to practice your posh English accent.
Yeah. Millimeter. It's meter, not meter. It's just, yeah. Americans, man.
Like the pen and the pin?
Yeah, like that. Pen and pin. Oh, good. Good old BYOB arguments. That was a fun episode, if I recall correctly. Fun as in it took me 8 hours to edit because everybody was talking over everybody else. Yeah, what people heard for the final edit on that one was nowhere close to how chaotic it was in real life.
I can kind of imagine, yeah.
Oh, man. There are times where I miss those days, but then I'm like, I think about how much editing went into... See, even there, editing. I'm not pronouncing the T's. Editing. How hard is that? Seriously, how hard is that, Yevie? It's not that hard. 3 hours of sleep, people. This is what 3 hours of sleep is like.
I mean, now you're sounding better. You're almost awake.
Oh, no, I'm tired as hell, dude. I've hit loopy. I've gone full Balmer Peak on this one, but without the alcohol.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
Speaking of alcohol. It was my birthday on Friday, and I did get a nice bottle of Bavarian whiskey.
Okay.
There's like this distillery that I'm not sure why they're calling it whiskey, though obviously could be any kind of alcohol, but it's really nice.
Well, that actually okay. Like I know like you have to differentiate between Irish whiskey and Scotch, because that's like two different alcohols from two completely different countries. But what makes a whiskey a whiskey?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I asked myself. I mean, obviously, you're making alcohol from whatever you can find in Germany as well, so I don't know. But yeah, it's nice.
Hey, Slack, are you okay, buddy? You want to load the picture?
Somehow, no, not really, right?
I've got the blurry image of a picture. You know, I'm gonna turn it off and turn it back on again.
No, it looks the same for me on Slack, on the computer and on the phone.
Oh, it's just a blurry image?
Yeah.
Go home, Slack. You're drunk. Yeah, I thought it was me for a second, so it's like, I'm trying over Wi-Fi, I'm trying over 5G, I'm trying over LTE, it's not downloading, and I thought it was my problem.
Nope.
Urban, why you gotta go break things, man?
I don't know. I'm just a programmer. Normally it's the testers that break stuff, not me. I don't know.
So I
know
works.
someone who is a tester, right? And he's really good at this job, and he basically finds all the bugs everywhere in every app he uses. Not even the ones he tests. It's crazy.
So, okay, does I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. I mean, does he start? Nope, don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, and sometime soon I also need to finish, because I'm sitting in the basement, and it's not only my office but also the room where we have our projector, and the rest of the family, I guess, is waiting for it to get dark enough so they can watch Iron Man 2. They said they're gonna watch all the Marvel movies in the holidays now.
Oh boy. Well, it looks like then we do have quite a bit of things that we should probably put on the back burner then for the next time we record.
Yeah, I don't know. 4 months. Let's make it a date.
I hope it doesn't take us till December to record again.
But I will definitely I'm almost at 250,000 inks in FPC. Let's make it past that then.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of ink.
It is, yeah. I mean, yesterday apparently was a good day. There were people entered 700 inks.
Damn.
I think there was one day where it was like over 1,000. That was the biggest peak.
That is nuts, dude. That is just pure nuts.
Yeah, and I can notice it in the site. There's some areas where I really need to look into what I'm doing and make it faster and not do dumb stuff, I guess.
Well, I also heard that you decided to go ahead and also change a few things on the back end, but that's for a different podcast. Speaking of which, go check out episode 46 of Expanding Beyond, which will probably be out by the time I'm done editing this video. I'm going back to bed when we're done recording.
Maybe not a bad idea yet.
Yeah, but we do need to do this more often if life does calm down a little. A little, yes, a little.
Mm-hmm.
And next episode, Urban does more talking, I promise.
Yeah, let's see about that.
So do we want to wrap it up here so that your family doesn't kill both of us?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
And maybe that they don't go to bed too late.
Yeah, that would be bad. So, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here, folks. Thank you for listening and sticking with our rather erratic release schedule. There will be more topics on the next one because we didn't cover quite a few things because Yvgenii minus sleep equals... we really didn't rabbit trail that much. We just ended up...
No, it was off the rails almost from the beginning, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be on the rails to rabbit trail, and we were never there to begin with, so I think we were good.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.